Hello everyone, this is Zahid Bashir. I am a faculty member at Department of Commerce, University of Gujarat, and a PhD scholar in Delhi College of Commerce, University of Punjab, Lahore. Previously, in my previous session, I was discussing about ethnographical research design. I have discussed its basic structure. I will discuss in more detail today with some exemplary procedure, the application, how to apply the ethnographic research design. And tomorrow we will discuss grounded theory research design, and I will try to complete qualitative research methods like thematic analysis, content analysis, and grounded theory-based qualitative research design in this week. And I will try to start NVIVO session from the next week because there is a complete procedure that requires a lot of attention from the participant of this training program. So, in order to make your base a concrete one, I am discussing the practical aspects. So, today we will cover the ethnographical research design. Previously, we have discussed a lot in terms of ethnographical research. I have told you that it is a research design that basically consider the culture. It may be an organizational culture, it may be a culture of a country, an economy or particular region. And there is a technique which is known as immersion, which means that in order to understand a particular culture, you need to sink until covered completely with the water. It means if you want to understand something, you need to sink yourself down in that thing in order to completely understand that particular culture or tradition. So this is the word which basically used in ethnographical research. And in my previous session, I have covered the part like how we will collect data from ethnographical research. And I have discussed some basic considerations regarding this ethnographical research design. So today I am starting about uh, two of the major categories of ethnographical research, like organizational ethnography and ethnography. And from there, I will also let you know the practical procedure of how to apply the ethnography using an organizational setting. So, what do you mean by organizational ethnography? First, you need to understand its broader context, its meaning, its clear understanding. So, when you stay in a particular organization, you observe their working, you observe their culture, you observe their value system. You basically collect data through document analysis, through pictures. It becomes organizational ethnography. Basically, you are trying to understand the culture, the value system of a particular organization in case of organizational ethnography. So, organizational ethnography is a research methodology that focuses on studying organizations, workplaces, and institutional setting using ethnographic research technique. So you need to understand that in this setting also you are going to study qualitatively the culture, the value system of a particular organization. It involves immersing, again, the same concept, immerse. It involves immersing researchers within the organizational context to observe and understand the social dynamics, cultural norms, and everyday practices that shape organizational behavior. So you need to immerse yourself in order to understand the organizational context. It means that you need to become a part of that organization in order to understand deeply the organizational context, the social dynamics, the cultural norms, and everyday practices that shape that organizational behavior. So, what are the key aspects of organizational ethnography? The first thing that you need to understand as a key aspect of organizational ethnography is the participant observation. So researcher engage in prolonged observation within the organization, actively participating in their daily activity, in their meetings, in their interactions. This allows them to gain first-hand insight into the organizational culture, communication patterns, and informal social networks. So you need to become the part of that organization in order to understand as a participant observer that what are their daily routine, what kind of meeting they held, what kind of interaction they do with that particular setting. The second key aspects in organizational ethnography is the interviews and field notes. In addition to observation, researcher may conduct interview with organizational members like employees, like managerial staff, like the owners, like the management of that organization to gather more in-depth information about their experiences, their perspective, their organizational roles, their field notes are taken to record observations, reflection, and key interaction during the research process. So you need to understand that in order to get more and more insight about that particular organization, you need to consider a couple of techniques to collect your data. You can observe yourself, you can take interviews, you can record the data on field notes that I have previously discussed. Then you can also consider their documents analysis. Researcher analyze organizational documents such as memos, reports, policies, procedure, the financial statements too. They normally issues the financial statements on quarterly, annually, biannually basis. They also issues the policy reports, their you can say sustainability report, the CSR reports. So you can also use those reports for meeting your research objective. So in order to understand the formal structure, the power dynamics, and decision-making process within the organization, you can also consider the document analysis. So these are some of the things that you need to consider for collecting data relevant to that particular organization as a organizational ethnography. There are some more key aspects like reflexivity. Organizational ethnographers reflect on their own role and positionality within the research context, acknowledging how their presence may influence the behavior and interaction of the organizational member. So here, reflexivity means that whatever information you are getting from their employees, their management, their key persons, they are basically reflecting their own role. They are reflecting what they perceive about that particular organization, what is their position, and how they reflect a particular role in that particular organization. So that means reflectivity. So they consider their own biases, assumptions, perspectives throughout the research process. They may give their own point of view on the basis of their own biases, their own assumptions, and their own perspective in throughout the research process. Then cultural interpretation. Organizational ethnography seeks to interpret meanings, symbols, and rituals embedded within the organizational culture. So researcher explore how organizational member construct shared meaning, identities, and understand through their interaction and practices. So in this way, you can understand the cultural differences as well as the cultural commonalities between the organizational member. You can understand the differences in point of view and the commonality in the point of view within the particular cultural setting of a particular organization. And then you may have contextual understanding in case of organizational ethnography. Researcher aims to understand the organization within its broader socio-cultural, economic, and historical context. They consider external factors such as industry trends, market dynamics, and societal influences that shape organizational behavior and practices. It means that researcher need to understand what is the particular context behind every organization and its culture, how the context shape their cultural values, the historical consequences of that particular organization. So you need to understand the contextual understanding of that particular organization. Now, I am going to consider an example in which case the organizational ethnographical research design can be applied. So, if you want to consider an organizational ethnography research design, so how can you apply the procedure? So, let's take an example of how organizational ethnography could be applied in a research study within a large technology company undergoing organizational change. So a large technology company is undergoing an organizational change. So we are going to consider organizational ethnography there. So how can we do? The first thing that you need to understand here is the research question. What would be the research question? How do employees within a technology company adapt to navigate to organizational change process? Because our major concern here is the organizational change in a technology, in a large technology company. So the first thing that we need to understand that the employees will may resist this change. So how do employees within the technology company adapt to and navigate to organizational change process? So this is the research question that I am going to exemplify here in order to understand how the organizational ethnography works here. So what I need to do first phase as a preparation phase, I need to formulate the research question that I have already formulated. So as a first phase, I need to clearly define the research question or objective of the study, focusing on understanding how employee adapt to organizational change. So we have developed a question here as a research question of that particular organization. And the second thing uh, in the first phase is that we need to understand the ethical consideration. We need to obtain necessary permission and approval from the relevant stakeholders. Always remember that whenever you need to conduct any research that involves some participants, whether they are employees, whether they are the management staff, the any key persons, you need to take the permissions and the approvals from these relevant stakeholders that you are doing this research. You need to ensure confidentiality and anonymity of the participants, that you are not going to share their personal information to any third party, and you need to adhere to ethical guidelines throughout the research process. So in case of ethical consideration, first thing that you need to make clear to the study participant is about the objective of the study. So why you are basically conducting this particular research. So first thing is the clarity about the research objective. then you take permission and approval from these participants of the study that you are going to research, and you need their approval for data collection, and then you will ensure that their personal information will not be shared with any third party. So these are the things that you need to consider at preparation phase. The second thing that you need to understand is the data collection as a part of organizational ethnographic research. You may have multiple options like participant observation, interviews. You may have document analysis, as we have previously discussed. In case of participant observation, spend several months immerse. Immerse is the concept that I have previously discussed, that you need to be a part of that uh, organization in order to deeply understand what you are going to have researched. So spend several months immersed within the technology company, observing their daily activities, meetings, and interactions. Record your observation in field notes, document key events, interaction, and organizational dynamics. The second thing that you can do as a data collection procedure is to conduct interview. You can conduct semi-structured interview with employees. Here, semi-structured means that you are going to ask a number of questions, and they will provide you open-ended answers for those questions. So that becomes a semi-structured interview. You can conduct semi-structured interview with employees across different levels and department. You can use open-ended questions to explore their experiences, their perceptions, and strategies to related organizational change. You can also consider the document analysis in order to deeply or more widely analyzing your research context. Like you can review organizational documents such as internal communication, policy updates, and strategic plans. You need to analyze past reports, memos, meetings. You can also consider their financial statements, their policy reports, their CSR reports, their sustainability reports, in order to deep dive into more detail. So these are the data collection procedure that you can adopt in considering the organizational ethnography as a second step. The third step that you can apply here is the data management. So you need to organize collected data into structured format, such as digital files or databases for easier analysis. You can anonymize and de-identify data to protect the privacy and confidentiality of the participant. That is very important as a ethical procedure. Uh, you can create a comprehensive data management plan to ensure the integrity and security of the data. Then you can analyze this data as a fourth step. You can consider thematic analysis, transcribed and code interview data. I will let you know how to transcribe and code interview data when I am going to start the NVIVO procedure. That is a very interesting step, that you record something and you transcribe something, and then you need to create some codes or some themes on the basis of that transcription. So, in thematic analysis, you need to transcribe and code interview data and field notes to identify the recurring themes. Some of the perceptions, or some of the words, or some of the sentences may be repeating again and again from multiple participants. That would be considered as a recurring themes. Some of the participants of your interview may be discussing the same things, so they becomes the recurring themes. So you will identify recurring themes, patterns, and tensions related to organizational change. So what kind of tensions the employees are facing due to organizational change? Use qualitative data analysis software like NVIVO or MaxQDA. So we will discuss the NVIVO because our focus is on NVIVO. Both of these software consider the same procedure. to assist in organizing and analyzing large volume of qualitative data. The second thing that you need to do in data analysis is the document coding. So code and categorize organizational document based on themes related to organizational change, communication strategies, and leadership approaches. Then you can integrate the different data sources. So integrate finding from participant observation, interview, and document analysis. We have discussed these three in more detail in our previous slide, that you can collect data through participant observation, you can collect data through interviews, you can collect data through document analysis. So in each source of data collection, you need to integrate your findings to provide a holistic understanding of the organizational change process. So that is the next is the fifth part of your organizational ethnography example. So at the fifth part, you need to provide the interpretation of your analyzed results. So interpret findings within the theoretical framework of the organizational change, drawing or relevant concept from organizational behavior, sociology, and management studies. So you can explore the implication of your finding for understanding employee adaptation to change, organizational culture, leadership practices. So there may be some major themes that you will identify using your analysis procedure. So you need to provide the implication of your findings, that how your findings would affect the individual employees, how your findings will impact your organization, your target or organization or decision maker in that particular organization. So next thing is the reports and dissemination. You need to write a research report, prepare detailed research report documenting the research methodology, key findings, analysis, and the interpretation. This is basically the last procedure when you have found something that you need to report as a publication. So you need to include illustrative examples, quotes, and experts from the data sources to support your finding. You can present and discuss this to the wider audience, like present findings to the relevant stakeholders within the organization, like senior management, HR professional, and change management team, that what is your findings are, and how these findings are beneficial to the senior management, HR professional, and change management team before applying that particular change process. It will facilitate discussion to explore implication for the organizational practices, policies, and strategies. So next procedure is the publication and knowledge sharing. In order to consider the larger audience as a stakeholder of your study, you need to share your research findings through academic publications like conference presentation or industry reports, contribute to the body of knowledge on organizational change. You can also consider publishing your document in a research paper or in a journal as an article. So this is how you can consider an organizational ethnography. So engage in knowledge sharing activities such as workshop or webinar to disseminate findings to the broader audiences and facilitate discussion on the best practices and organizational change management process. So this is how you can consider different types of text analysis and text mining. Like you may have data mining process, databases, library information service, computational linguistic, and AI machine learning tools, statistics. So you may apply different types of tools for text analysis and text mining in case of organizational ethnography. Next is the netnography, which is a concept recently emerged about more than 20 years ago. Uh, it is a very interesting concept. The most of the researcher are using this concept because in that case you don't need to go anywhere. You just need to have a laptop and an internet connection to collect your data. But you need to understand the netnography in more detail. Netnography is a research methodology that adopts traditional ethnographic technique to study online communities. So you are basically using the same ethnographic techniques, uh, like observation, like interview, like document analysis. So same traditional ethnographic technique, but on online communities and cultures. So it is this technique or netnography technique is coined by Robert Kozinets in 1995. So netnography enable researcher to explore and understand social interaction, behavior, and cultural dynamics within digital spaces, such as social media platforms, forums, blogs, and virtual worlds. So you need to see this video on YouTube. If you find this video, Netnography by Robert Kozinet, uh, it will provide in detail the concept of netnography. But always remember that you are going to apply the ethnographic techniques on online communities, basically. So this becomes the netnography. So what are the key features of netnography? The first thing that you need to understand in case of netnography is the participant observation. So, like traditional ethnography, netnography involves immersing oneself in the online community. So, in this case, you are going to immerse yourself in online community being studies. So, researcher observed and participant in online interaction, gaining insight into the community norms, values, and practices. You can do textual analysis uh, because netnography relies heavily on analyzing textual data, such as forum posts, comments, tweets, and other forms of digital communication. Researchers examine the language, symbols, and meaning expressed by that community members to uncover underlying cultural pattern and themes. So, the next thing that you need to understand regarding ethnography is non-intrusive data collection. What does it mean by? Since ethnography takes place in an online environment, researcher can collect data without directly interrupting or interfering with the community activities. You are not interfering with anybody. You are just collecting your particular data, and I will let you know how you can do it. So this non-intrusive approach allows for the naturalistic observation of online behavior. The next thing is reflexivity. In ethnographers often reflect on their own role, positionality within the online community. You need to introduce yourself, why you are collecting that data. So you need to reflect yourself. So they consider how their presence may influence the data collection process and strive to maintain reflexivity through the research process. Next thing is digital ethnography tools. So an ethnographer may use a variety of digital tools and software to assist with the data collection and analysis, such as web scraping is a tool which you can use in scraping your desired information, text mining algorithm, and qualitative data analysis software. So these are some of the techniques if you want to collect some relevant the data was the discussion was interrupted by internet, so I am starting again. I was discussing the key features of netnography as a next part. So digital ethnographic tools, I have discussed that you can use different stepping tools, text mining algorithm, and qualitative data analysis software like we will consider the NVIVO. And then ethical consideration I have discussed previously. So what are the forums for online netnography? There are a lot of online forums that are free to join for this purpose. Here are some examples like Reddit, uh, uh, Quora, Stake Exchange, Twitter, Facebook groups, Discord, Tumblr. So these are some of the forums that you can use for your purpose of data collection. You can create your account free of cost there. Like, for example, if we consider the Reddit, uh, just let me just show you how it works. For example, if you go here in the Google and you write Reddit, you will find the link here. Reddit is an American social news aggregation, content rating, and forum social network. So users submit content to the site as link, text, post, images, and videos, which are then voted up or down by the members. So from here, you can get your data online. You can post something as a member of this community, and the people will respond to that post. So you need to create an online your account. You need to log in, and there are a different numbers of forums here relating to gaming, sports, business, crypto, television, celebrities, animal and pets, and there are a lot of forums here. You need to find out which forms is suitable for you, and you can become the part of that forum, and then you can ask the question relevant to your research, and the people will respond it. So in the similar way, there are other forums too that you can use, like you can create a post on Twitter, and you can join some Facebook group in order to collect the relevant data from that Facebook page or from that Facebook group. The next thing that you need to understand is the exemplification of this process. As I have discussed the process, first you need to understand the example of netnography. So let's consider an example of conducting netnography study in a Facebook group focused on cryptocurrency investment. So what is the first thing? The first thing is to identify the research question. So our research question could be, what are the investment strategies, trend, and risk perception among a member of a Facebook group dedicated to cryptocurrency trading? So you need to identify a Facebook group which basically deals with cryptocurrency trading, and you need to ask them about their strategies, trend, risk perception. So they will respond in that Facebook group, and you can collect data accordingly. So let me clear the next thing. Next, you need to select the Facebook group. Choose a Facebook group that caters to the cryptocurrency enthusiastic investors or traders. Look for the group with substantial members and active engagement in discussion related to cryptocurrency. Next, you need to collect data through observation, through participation observation, through data capture. Next, you need to manage your data. You need to organize your data into structured format. You need to remove the personal identity as a ethical procedure and privacy. Then you can analyze your data. You can use thematic analysis. You can use sentiment analysis. You can have investment trend and analysis through that procedure. So there are a lot of things that you can do with that particular data. You can interpret your data in order to understand their investment behavior, their risk perception, their strategies of that particular group. You can identify the key insights from that particular group. You can report and disseminate your findings into some research process into some analysis technique, key findings. You can present your findings to financial analysts to cryptocurrency investors and policy makers. You can create a publications on the basis of your findings into academic journals, cryptocurrency forums, or social media platforms to contribute to the understanding of cryptocurrency investment practices and community engagement. So this is your task. You need to propose a topic. You need to create a research question if you want to do an organizational ethnography. Uh, and if you are interested in ethnography, you can propose a topic and you can create a research question. So this is how you can do the ethnographic research. So if you have any question, you can ask Dave and Wakar Muhammad. If do you have any question, you may ask. All right. Dave said no question. Wakar also said no question. So let's conclude this session. We will consider the grounded theory research design as a last part of the uh, qualitative research design. And after tomorrow, we will discuss the research methodologies like thematic analysis, like content